Happy Monday. If you're watching me live, tell me hi. If you're watching this on a replay, put hashtag replay in the comments. I'd love to see who watches after the fact. Give myself a minute to get situated here. All right. Hi, Bonnie, Chandra. Oh, good. Got some people joining. So I mentioned this before, but maybe I should just mention it every time in the beginning. If I was doing a live right through Facebook, I could see the names of people pop up and it would tell me, and maybe it shows you all each other who is logged on or who's watching. I don't get to see any of that unless you put in the comments hi. So I love seeing everybody on there. So let's see, Chandra, Bonnie, Yolanda, Nicole. Yeah, Nicole was just in. We had our first attempt at a Monday afternoon class. Well, the marketplace was closed and I think it worked really well, other than I need to shift things slightly. So I'm not trying to rush out of here and get Victoria and kick people out at the same time. Joyce, long time no see too. Stacy, Terry, Jennifer, Diane. Hi, Diane. Linda, Barbara, Sarah. Oh, I have so many friends with me today. Yeah, so tell me what you're working on too. Holly's working on a Slytherin scarf. Cool. Rose, Joan. All right, well, we have quite a few people on here, so I will go ahead and get started. Welcome to Monday Motivation. My name is Kristen. I am the owner of the Little Yarn Shop in downtown Saginaw, Michigan. If you haven't been down to see us, I'm inside the SVRC Marketplace. If you have been down to see us, maybe it's time to come back. Shop is open Wednesday through Saturday. I say it every week, and every week I have to think about it. Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I do these lives almost every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, you guys are working on all kinds of stuff. Good. Quindici, Lenny, garden trellis, bandana cowl. Lots of good stuff you guys are working on. I'm slowly knitting away on my Simple as hat. This little guy that I'm working on. I've mentioned before, it goes from preemie sizes up to a large men's. So I'm making a little bit of progress. This is that, I told myself I was going to put it right here too, the little knit call. That's the yarn, knit call. And it does a little self-patterning design, which is nice. It makes it, it's got a lot of interest to it. Look at, you can start to see kind of the little mock Fair Isle color work it does without having to actually change anything. So I'm slowly working on this just to keep my hands occupied sometimes. Chandra, you finished your fireworks sweater. Awesome. Nicole wore hers in today. I got a picture of it. I'm going to post it on Friday. So I would love to, Bonnie, yes, I'll get that for you. I would love to get everybody who did a fireworks sweater together and have everybody wearing them and get a group photo. I think that would be fantastic. I don't know how I would. I'm not very good at organizing events, so it might be a little iffy. I'm trying to get everybody in one place at one time, but I need an events coordinator. So that's one thing I'm working on. I'm going to take this off and show you all. This is what I finished this week. This is my cowl, my Vari cowl. It has this little half twist in it to make it a Mobius. So you knit it. Take it off and show you. And I don't know if I've worn this shirt on my lives before. Melissa made this for me. I love it. So this cowl is knit in as a tube. So you do a provisional cast on, and it is stranded color work, but only 2 colors at a time, 4 colors total. I switched my light a little bit this week to see if maybe I could get a better, there you go. Maybe that's a little bit better. You can see the greens and pinks in there. So once you're done knitting the tube, the length that you need, you kind of give it a half twist and then graft it together. That's what I was doing while Joyce was teaching the class today on Knit Companion. I was doing the Kitchener stitch on 120 stitches, really 240 stitches because it was 120 and 120. But I don't think I've Kitchenered in a tube like that. And it is pretty short. You definitely would have enough yarn to make it longer if you wanted to. Melissa, when you do a provisional cast on, do you crochet on the needle or crochet a chain and pick up stitches? Good question. So the primary 2 ways to do a provisional cast on are with essentially you're creating a crochet chain. The way I learned to do it initially was to create your chain first. So crochet a whole bunch of chain stitches and then go back in and knit into the bumps on the back side. That is doable as long as your chain doesn't twist. I mean, you can always undo it. It's just a little more fussy. But my preferred way is to crochet around my needle. So I'm still making that crochet chain, but I just wrap it around my needle every stitch. Yeah, it's completely different. And I'll have to find a good tutorial. I don't remember whose I watched that was kind of like lightning bolt. All of a sudden that made so much more sense and saved time. So I wasn't sure about putting the twist in the yarn. I thought, or in the cowl, sorry, Carla and one of her friends are out in the, over at her space. She does novelty teas outside my door and they're very excited about something. So when I was grafting this and I read the instructions, I wasn't sure if I was going to put the twist in it or not. Karen and I were kind of chatting about it the other day, sitting at the table before I left, before she sent me home. And she mentioned it probably would help it lay flatter, and it definitely does. If it didn't have this twist in it, let's just pretend that twist wasn't there. You'd have this cowl like this, and it would lay really weird. So it's smart and a little bit fun to do that little twist before you graft it. Is definitely a slow process. I tried to do it to graft my 2 ends together. I have one little blip. You see that? That's how I can tell the row that I grafted. I tried to do this last night, but taking out a provisional cast on navy blue yarn with very dim light is not advisable. So I ended up having to back out the little bit that I was able to do last night and start again. Yeah, it does make it look fuller. Melissa said it makes it look fuller, like it's a multi-layered, multi-wrapped scarf. So you can really not, other than that little blip, it's pretty, that was the beginning and end of my rounds. It's pretty difficult to see on this row anything that's not continuous because she doesn't have you add any extra rows. I wish she did in terms of how it would have made, if I had done one more plain row round before I started the pattern at the very beginning, it would have made grafting it a little better, but you definitely would have seen the difference. So the only way I can see it, other than that one little blip, is the fact that my points they don't quite line up perfectly. And you know what? That's all right. So here was the beginning where I was working my way this way. And you can see how my points from my ending and my points from my beginning line up. As I worked my way around to the end, I got off a stitch or two. So my points don't quite line up the way they're supposed to. Nobody's going to notice that. It even takes me a minute to find it on there. So I like this cowl. I like this pattern. It's really squishy. So this yarn is Bella Cash, Universal Yarns Bella Cash. 60% superwash wool, 30% nylon, 10% cashmere. Come on. See, I thought I was getting this light better and it's just not working very well. There we go. What you need are 2 balls, because these are 50-gram balls, 2 balls of your main color and 1 each of your 3 contrast colors. Like I mentioned initially, there definitely is enough yarn of all 4 colors to make it longer if you wanted to. If you just were really loving the pattern, you wanted to keep going, you really wanted it to be big and oversized, you have enough yarn to do that. So the visual I did, I showed last week, but just all one. There are the 4, sorry, everything's upside down. The pink, the green, the ice, and the navy. And in person, you can see the different colors in there. So that's my Vari cowl. I will have kits if you're interested in this colorway. I've got those kits already put together. They run $50 and that includes the pattern. So that's 5 skeins of yarn plus the pattern and a printed version of the pattern. If you need needles, we can add needles to the kit. So as always, if there's anything that I talk about that you want or have more questions on, just pop it in the comments and we will make sure we touch base with you. If it's yarn that I only have a couple of or something that's more limited, put in the comments what you want, how many you want, and whether you'll pick them up in the shop or have us ship them to you, because I do have some club yarns to talk about today. So also tell me in the comments if I were to do kits in other colors for that cowl, what type of colors would you want to see together? So it takes 4 total. I'd be curious to see what colors you all like to see. I need a drink, it's dry in here. I always think I should bring something other than water to drink. Like, I really like those. Why can't I think of it? Like LaCroix, the seltzer waters. But I have a pretty good idea that carbonation and I would not get along very well while I'm trying to do this. Looks fall, gold, red, green, and cream. That would be nice. The original. There's a good picture of that. Which you can see, I'm sure, when Melissa posted the link, but the original has some of those warmer colors too. Gold, gray, cream, and something. I don't know what her 4th color is. See, that's why I do something that's completely different. So you can look at that and get one idea, and you look at this and get a different idea. Same pattern, but very different looks. Like this kind of looks more wintry to me. What else am I working on? I am working on the Baby Honey Blanket by Crafting Designs. And for some reason, Craftling Designs. Hi, Aunt Jackie. For some reason, when I printed off my pattern, it did not give me a photo on my front page. But I do have this one, this little honeycomb blanket, and that is all done with little 1x1 cables. I was sick a few days last week, so I had quite a bit of knitting time, hence the progress that you guys will see on things. So it calls for 4 skeins, 8 skeins of 50 grams, 100 yards, 100 meters per ball. So that would be 400 meters total. Well, I kind of foolishly thought 4 skeins of Malabrigo would be close enough. That's not right. 800 meters, which would be what? 400 meters is 437 yards. So 800 meters would be 874. So 874-ish yards. I'm used Malabrigo Rios, which is 210, I believe, 210 yards per skein. I thought I would be close. I think I'm going to have to do some math and knock off a couple of the honeycombs on top, but here's what I have so far. It's got, I was trying to take pictures of this and it needs daylight. Well, that's a little bit more accurate on the type of the warmth of the color that it is. The lights are really washing everything out. It looks more gray than it is. But I had 2 skeins that were more to the brown tones, and I had 2 skeins that were more to the orange tones. I'm trying to kind of work it up as it goes, but I just think you can see the design if it's a little bit lighter though. See, they start to get less and less as you go up. So I had to do a little bit of math and figure out kind of how short I'm going to be on yarn. I don't like to do that. This is one of those prime examples of grab an extra skein or plan for a different yarn. I had 4 skeins in the shop. Like I said, 2 were from one dye lot, 2 were from a different dye lot, and they looked very different. But that's all I had. That's all I could get. It's out of stock online, of course. And I had it in my head. I could not find another good worsted or DK goldy color that I liked. So I'm going with it. I kind of figured out, I did try to blend a little bit. Where are my ends? So from here to here, I used 1 skein. At this point, I added my 2nd skein, but I only striped 4 rows, it looks like, before I started my 2nd skein. I kind of figured out it takes about 5 yards to knit down and back. How did I do that? I had my ball sitting next to me. I grabbed out from, easier to show you if I just have the yarn here. Okay. So the yarn is Malabrigo Rios. The color is glitter. It is an I-cord edge, Melissa. The pattern does not call for an I-cord edge, but I had seen, like I said before, I love looking at other people's notes, their project notes. I did not do an I-cord cast on because I knew I was going to be short on yarn. But yeah, I have a little I-cord up the side. I did it the way Stephen West does his. So you get to the end of the row, bring your yarn forward and slip the last 3 stitches. So as I was going and I tried to figure out how to make sure I have enough yarn to blend and also make sure that I have enough yarn to, if I start a row, to be able to go all the way down and all the way back. So I grabbed what was coming from my knitting, went up a little bit from there, but then, you know, did yards 1, 2, I only did 3. So I did 3. And at that point, I just put a little knot in my yarn. Then I toss that back to the side. Yeah, I'll show the wrong side too. I toss what I measured back to the side and just knit how I want to knit. When I got to the end of the right side, I looked to see where that knot was, and it wasn't very far. So I went ahead and measured off 2 more yards, and it got me just about to the point. So Lisa, I would love it. Believe me, I thought about that, but hers is in fingering weight. maybe I can hold it double. Except this is superwash. Well, I think that's superwash too. She used Malabrigo Finito, which is it's their fingering weight. I don't carry because they come in 50-gram hanks, and I just don't have the room. Maybe I could hold a couple strands together. So if you're running short on yarn, I mean, I figured that out to the extent that this is what I had left at the end of my row. When I started down on the right side, I measured out, thought, all right, I have more than 5 yards, so I should be good. That's how much more than 5 yards I had. So the back side looks really cool too. I think the front side will be more evident when I block it. It won't be so pouchy is not the right word, but I really think it looks cool either direction. You can see the hexagons more this way. They go in. How neat that is. I kind of glanced at the backside, but never really looked at it. So that's the big thing that I'm working on. So I wanted to talk about row counters too, because this pattern is one that is written out row by row, and it's easy enough to follow. They're short rows, but my cheater go-to for staying on track is a Post-it note, but we all know Post-it notes don't last very long. I had gotten some, they were called Stitchers GPS, and it was supposed to be like a reusable, kind of like the highlighter tape, but different, which worked for a little while. But now I'm into like 100 and, what did I say earlier? I looked at my counter. 152. I'm on row 152. So with projects less than 100, I have all kinds of options for anything that needs to be counted, like 1 through 99. We've got the little clicky row counters. Aren't they adorable? This one's part of the Mindful collection, and then Knitter's Pride came out with a couple that were just fun and pretty, along with some stitch markers too. Both of these lock. Those are $6.99 each. If you make a mistake, you can scroll them back, but otherwise it just counts on its own. They are the remodel of Kathy, no Knit Companion. No. Honestly, I love all the features in Knit Companion. I'm just too lazy to set anything up. So these are kind of the remake of Knitter's Pride's old smiley face clicky counter. I do have like 2 of those left in the shop too, if anybody's interested. Other ideas, other options, the digital row counters. If any of you have not seen these, it looks like a watch band, but it's just long enough to go around your finger, so you can buckle it on your finger. It's got a little digital display that you can click. Let's see if it'll let me do it on here. It's really great if you're just going along. Jackie and I were just talking about, she used it on something the other day, because it was just really easy to get to the end of the row. And oh, and the rings. Oh my gosh, I have so many row counter options, but these digital ones are kind of fun too. once you need to get over 100, I only have one row counter that goes over 100. And it happens to be part of my knit kit. And I don't think we've talked about these on my lives yet. So look, it's got the logo on it. Knit kits have been around a long time. A lot of people over the years I've seen have the older either blue or pink. They look like birth control pill boxes, but they were purchased by another company and kind of revamped. This row counter goes up to 999. It's got ones, tens, and hundreds. The ones and tens will move as they should. So 59, 60. When you get to the next hundreds, that one you do have to do manually, but it's just one click over. I think we can do that every 100 rows. So what is it besides that fun row counter? Knit kits have a thread cutter. The new ones have little doodads on each side. This one has a little stitch saver. I'm not very coordinated tonight. So it's like the little bent crochet hooks, kind of like the handy tools, but it pops. It's got a larger end and a smaller end. It pops right along one side. The other side has kind of the same thing, but without the hooks. So it's a little cable needle. One end's thicker, one end is thinner. I had a little sign that said how many different, oh, it says right on the back, 10 tools in one. Melissa, I take that on a plane traveling. Thread snip on the side in lieu of taking scissors. Yeah, these are great for traveling because it contains pretty much everything you need in one place. Although it does have scissors in there too, if you want to keep them in there. Tape measure. Then on the back is all kinds of handy stuff. So there is a needle gauge. You open that up and there are collapsible scissors, stitch markers, point protectors, darning needle, and they put in here. So this is how they come with this stuff in there. They put both closed stitch markers and opening and removable. No, I can't think of words tonight. You all know what I'm talking about. Have the scissors somewhere else. So the little collapsible scissors pull apart, pop down, go back, pop together. I love these little things. Locking stitch markers, thank you. Oh, it's been a day apparently. I'm gonna blame it on not being 100% recovered yet. That's where I'm going with it. But whether you're traveling or not, if you've got a project and you really want to keep everything contained, make sure you have everything in one place, this is the way to do it. So 10 tools: crochet hook, cable needle, collapsible scissors, tape measure, thread cutter, row counter, stitch markers, point protectors, darning needle, needle gauge. 10 tools in one. So these, I have a few left of these. They're $47.50. And once these are gone, they're gone. That company is not doing it wholesale as much anymore, which is kind of a bummer, but I love these things. So that's the knit kits. I said the needle guide on the back, Melissa. The gauge. Yeah. Sometimes I remember things. So something like that, besides the fact that it counts up to 999, got everything else I need with it too. So Bev said she wants one. Again, as a reminder, if there's something that I talk about that you want, pop in the comments and let us know you want us to set one aside or more. and whether you'll pick it up or have us ship it to you. Ideas for leftovers. Jackie brought in the other day her little Pincha shawl. Isn't that cool? I had started I had started one of these before I even moved the shop here. And I love that she did it with all little scraps and mini stains, because you can really see how each feather is built. The original pattern is written with one variegated yarn, which you can see. Melissa just posted the link to it, but this with the little bitty amounts of yarn, it doesn't take much at all. It's a real quick project. If I did this again, this is probably the way I would do it. So I just wanted to give you all kind of an idea of what to do with some of your leftovers if you have just little bits. It didn't even take, I don't even think it took 10 grams of a mini stain. Again, this is one of those times where, or one of those ways where if you tend to gravitate to making things of a lot the same colors, you'd have a lot of little mini stains that would go together. Okay, so I showed pictures last week, not on Monday, I think on Wednesday. Yeah, it was, because it was the first day the shop was open last week. And then we got all the snow dumped on us. I got February's shipment of the Dream in Color pop-up club yarn. So every spring, Dream in Color puts out to, well, actually they do it in the fall, winter. Dream in Color reaches out to LYSs and offers this opportunity to participate in their pop-up clubs. They do one in the spring, one in the fall. I commit to it ahead of time. I tell them how many stains I want to get, and then I wait, and then they come. So this time was, I thought I had a picture pulled up here. They've gotten better about showing ahead of time what the 4 colors will be, which are on my website, our website. And you can, any that I don't have yet, so March, April, May, can be pre-ordered at a little bit of a discount. You can get more than one as long as they're available on there. Once I have them in the store here, they're $34.99. But those are, let's see if we can get it. Nope, probably not. See, this is what I get for trying to do fun stuff like that. They're online. So February's is so springy. I have 4 left. I need to figure out how to do better with my colors. I apologize. I don't know why they're so all over the place. It is, normally I don't have that much of a problem with it. And I even tried with the ring light and it's not making much of a difference. I wonder, give me a second. I just turned the ring light off, see if that makes any difference. There we go. That's a little better. It's the colors are just gorgeous. You've got this bright spring green, this bright yellow. There are pinks in here, blues, speckles. They overlap in some places. And of course, like any hand-dyed yarn, every skein is different. So one goes more pink, one goes more green. This one's got a bit more blue in it. And also remember what you see when it's wound up like this in a hank is mostly representative of what it's going to look like, but there might be something else hiding down in there that you don't see on the outside. But seeing multiple skeins gets you a little bit of an idea of the variation in there. This one I love. It's got just like this pale pink at one end. So I have 4 of those left that are not spoken for. And they recommended each month when they release the pattern, they also put a recommended pattern to go with it. This time was Nest and Burrow, which I believe many of you knit when you got the LYS Day kit last year. Dream in Color did a specialty kit. Which one was that? Maybe it was Black Friday a couple of years ago. My brain still feels like 2021 didn't happen, so I'm a little bit off. The original colors were more muted, and they were inspired by bunnies and owls, nests and burrows. This time, though, they did. Let's see if I can get this one pulled up at least. Melissa posted a link to the photo in the pattern, but they did actually send out. Yeah, that's not going to work at all. They sent out a photo of the sample. Shizo Pete's. Sorry. The post that I put out there on Wednesday has a picture of it, but their recommended colors to go with it are Spoil the Littles, which is always a popular one when we have it here in the shop. Doesn't stay around very long. And Rosy, which I have not had this color in the shop before. And you guys, when I went to go add this, I have had 187 different colors of Smooshy with Cashmere in the shop at some point. That's a lot. I didn't even realize. I thought it was like 80 something. No, it's not. Some of those were club colors, but not many. So this is Rosy. I've not had that one in the shop before. That was their combination. Their recommendation is those 3 together. So I've got a few. I only have 2 of the Rosy left, and I've got 4 of the Spoil the Littles left. And it really is kind of this pale mint, very pale mint green. But you guys know I kind of like to go outside of the box sometimes. So I grabbed a bunch of other colors that I thought would look really cool with this. Each skein is $34.99, all except 3 skeins that I'm going to show are Smooshy with Cashmere, which is 4 ounces, 400 yards, 70% superwash merino, 20% cashmere, 10% nylon, hand dyed in Arizona. So besides those 2 colors, what would I put with it? I love, love, love this Scorched Lime. It just really pulls out. Look, there's a little bit of that in there. And this Prince William. Prince William is a good blue gray. If you've seen on What You Making Wednesday, Elaine Mayer is working on yet another ranunculus with this Prince William color. What else do I have? Did I try over here? The Dawn is Ours, like this lemon yellow, revenue blue. Look at that. You could like sneak in some sort of U of M-ish thing without it being in your face blue and gold. Oh, that's a good representation of it right there. So pretty. prickly pear. And what's this one? This one is variations. One of the new yarns that I got here. Sunflower topaz. That. And I'm just kind of grabbing like pairs at a time. Joshua tree, another green. So I kind of went a little bit on a green kick the last time I ordered yarns because I felt like they were underrepresented. So those are the three greens that I have here: the prickly pear, what I say that, Joshua tree, and scorched lime. But any of those with this would be beautiful. They're good greens. No, Diane, right? It's hard to decide which ones. And then I did pull, if you wanted more of a muted style, I have one, I can't tell from, one skein of this pale yellow called Sundance. It's a very pale yellow, and then it's got a few speckles in there. It just really, if you wanted really a muted look that was more of a, it wouldn't really be a fade, but it's not going to be in your face high contrast. That would go really well. I kind of wish that I had this like crazy neon green. This is probably the closest I have. Ugh, they all just look like spring. I do have this earth. What is this? But of course, they just say color 3058. This is their monochrome. And this beautiful green. It just kind of pops right along with. It's kind of a little bit more of a bluey green, I guess, but it's it's green. So all sorts of ideas. Yeah, that scorched lime, I think it's such an interesting color. Those lights and the darks, it kind of reminds me of, like, in a good way, moss on a forest floor. It's a very deep color. That with the blue, so many ideas. So if there's something that you like or you want to see together, put it in the comments or message the shop through Facebook or through Instagram, or you can call or text the shop once I am back in here on Wednesday. I can start going through those. Shop phone number 989-274-8571. It is an iPhone, so I can text, I can send pictures. That's my favorite way to help people pick yarns if they can't get into the shop to find what they want. I'm very happy to text photos back and forth. That's how I help Charlene pick out her colors for her La Mandiola. Speaking of, Diane says I'm in her speed dial. I have your name saved. I try to have everybody's name saved when I talk to somebody, so I just so I have a little bit of a heads up in case some people call and just start talking. La Mandiola is the Malabrigo knit along I've talked about a few times. It is scheduled to start February 15th, which is a Tuesday. It's a week from tomorrow. That Wednesday, February 16th, my goal is to I'm gonna have to let you guys know on that. My thought was if we couldn't go to the boardroom, we could hang out here in the shop and I could get, I could talk to a couple of the food vendors into doing small bites for us. However, I forgot that Deb has a beginning knitting class that night. So remember at the beginning when I told you I wasn't a very good events person? Still true. I do want to do something though. So keep an eye out for that. I know a few people have asked about having a virtual component to it. Maybe we end up having to just do it mostly virtual. And if a few people happen to be here, then we can virtual together. I'm not sure. Chandra, there is no rule against casting on early. The only thing I'm unclear on is when their window is for when they start looking for drawing names for prize winners. My guess is that starts February 15th, but really their restrictions or their guidelines are you have to be working on it from February 15th to what, like March 15th for those 4 weeks. And you qualify by posting photos on Facebook, Ravelry, or Instagram with their hashtag Malabrigo, KAL. And there is a form that you need to fill out also on their website. I'll have to find that again and kind of share it so it's back up to the top because it's in their blog and it's one of their old blog posts, but I had found the specific page and you scroll down to the bottom of it and they had it there. But there's absolutely no rule that says you can't cast on. Yeah, Melissa's been, sorry, swallowed too much water. Melissa's been working on hers. She decided just to do the 2 colors. It looks really cool. Yeah, so Chandra, I'm not sure because they keep changing the dates. My guess is for their qualifying is going to start February 15th. But yeah, you know, there are no knitting police. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be a cast on party that night. I just kind of want to do, maybe I'll call it more of a knit along kickoff versus just a cast on party because I'll probably be working on something else. You know, I'm not going to make the same thing twice. Oh, Diane, what other color did I hold up with the scorched lime? I don't even remember. I just threw them all in here. You might have to go back and watch again. That's one thing I didn't mention this time. Although I can go run through the colors again quick, Diane. After the live is over, I leave the video up on Facebook. So you can go to our old, former, not old, lives that we've done in the past. Julie's on section 7 right now. It won't come out and arrest you. I don't think so. So I can go through the colors quickly though. So there's the scorched lime, bedtime, Joshua tree, prickly pear, Prince William, the dawn is ours. Maybe it was this next one. Sunflower topaz. Sundance. I need one more hand. You can be cellmates. And green from Earth, their monochrome fingering. This was just me pulling stuff off the walls. You all know I like playing around with colors and putting sets together. So my brain just can't stop playing around with all the different ones. I really, really like that though. Put that in there. I don't think that's what I showed before, but I like that. But yeah, so you can always go back, rewatch the videos. And if there's something that you see that you still have questions on, comment in the video, in the comments, even if it's not live anymore. I get notifications on those and I try at least for a week or 2 to go back and make sure I've not missed anything after the fact. are invited. Social media channels. Well, so I don't know, maybe I know they're doing the drawings once a week during the 4 weeks, but maybe the pool of entries that they're pulling from is a little bit wider. Those of you that have been kind of following this along know that it's a little iffy on their organization part of it. There is one more thing that I'm going to cast on. Well, I've been trying to work on my husband's sweater, but I'm past all the fun color work now. It's just knitting in the round. And it's not yarn I have here in the shop, so I can't talk much about it here. Casapinka has sort of mentioned in some of her social media posts that she is coming out with a sweater knit along for March. She is saying that if you are a beginning sweater knitter, this would be a good one to start with. I have kind of a preview copy of that and am going to cast it on soon. I want to get the blanket done first and then I can cast on the sweater. Although I told myself I was not going to cast on another sweater until I got the sleeves of my other one, the purple one done. You guys, you know how that goes. I'm not a one project woman. All right, well, I feel like I've talked your ears off this week, and I still had a pile of things off to the side that I wanted to mention. Julie brought in a couple more samples of things that she's made recently, and I wanted to show them off, but they might have to wait until next week, which is, oh, not next week, 2 weeks. I almost forgot. I will not be doing a live next Monday. It's the 14th. And it's Valentine's Day. And my guess is I don't have much going on, but I don't want to eliminate the options. So we shall see. Beginning sweater knit along. I will make sure that once I have some more solid information that we'll get something put together, Bev. Just checking my notes. Things I didn't talk about. No live next week. So I will be back on the 21st. I try to go in and put events in for the month. And that way you have reminders, I have reminders. Again, if you go into the events and put that you're interested or that you're going, it helps other people see the event and participate. Yes, Kathy, happy Valentine's Day. I hope everybody has a great 2 weeks. If you're not coming into the shop, if I don't see you between now and then, have a great week. Be creative, be productive, and stay warm. All right, bye.